Hi, good morning. Pleasure to be here today with you. During this next couple of minutes, I would like to share how we see AI shaping the sports industry. I'm going to show a number of real-life examples. And before we dive into those, let me share that many of these examples are coming from the GSIC, the Global Sports Innovation Center partners. So some of you that are part of the Innovation Center and customers, well-known brands. Before we jump into the specific scenarios, let me share the vision of sports. These are the 4 traditional revenue streams. And when I engage with top execs, C-level from sports entities, I tell them, today we are living in a digital world. 45% of the global population is digital native. We live in a digital environment. So the question is, how do I become a digital company? And a good way to explain how we see the industry evolving is more and more a sports and entertainment or sportstainment, a data-tainment business, and then a marketplace. So if you think of this analogy and imagine that sports entities managed by these organizations, these companies, for example, Red Bull Media House, right? So your team, your club, your league could be a media house, can create content every single day. A great example of Red Bull is that they sell energy drinks, but they created a lifestyle brand and they create that level of content, engagement, and so on. Disney is another example. They are not only driving content, but also driving monetization opportunities with licensing. And also theme parks. So why don't you think or imagine your stadium, your sports facility as a theme park? Like, delighting the fans like in Disney. And as you can see, you can bridge also the content, licensing, and physical experiences. You can think of your sports organization as a data platform, the likes of Facebook. And once you really gather the data and really understand the likes, the needs of the consumers, you can create new commercial opportunities. You can become also a gaming company and also commercialize your assets through a partner ecosystem like a marketplace, connecting the dots. So my point here is the opportunity where we see the industry is evolving as a sportainment, datainment, and boosting revenue, traditional revenue streams through digital opportunities. Now they say, okay, I get it. So what can I do? So like any other industry, think of your customer first. Put the fan at the center, think before, during, and after the match. And try to identify 2 or 3 experiences that are going to be a wow for the consumers. Before you deploy hardware, technology, facilities, and so on, ideate together with your team, with the fans and so on. Decide which are those experiences, as you can see on the vignette here, and try to make sure that you gather the data, whether that's the official app, the online store, the ticketing system, the loyalty program, sponsors activations, the OTT video streaming platform, social media, you name it, and try to make sure that you create a single fan profile, 360-degree profile, or the golden record as it's described in consumer goods. So once you do this, you have experiences like La Liga. They used to have peak and valleys, but more and more through different digital assets, they have been able to level up and create an engagement 7/24 every single day with their fans. You can see it's a little bit small, but the official app, casual games, hardcore games like fantasy, OTT video streaming, sponsors activation, and so on. So with this in mind, let me cover those pillars that I mentioned before, the traditional revenue streams, and how AI is boosting those scenarios. This is Las Vegas Raiders, or Allegiant. Before it was Allegiant, I had the privilege to visit these facilities. The vision in smart stadiums is that these are going to be more and more multi-purpose, intelligent, and sustainable. Multi-purpose, the Allegiant Stadium, for example, the grass gets off the pitch, so you can host concerts and This is the same experience that you can see in Real Madrid, where the pitch splits into seven pieces and gets down underground, so you can host multiple concerts. To the point, you remember the conversation on the example that I mentioned on Disney, how you create a theme park. The Madison Square Garden hosts more than 380 events per year, so more than one event per day. So this is truly a multi-purpose and how you delight and create wow experiences for the fans. And in the left bottom corner, you can see this is one of the command and control operation centers for FIFA World Cup in Qatar, where 8 stadiums were digitalized. So in collaboration with partners using Microsoft Tech, we were able to create a digital twin, a digital representation of the stadiums, every single entity, thousands of sensors, thousands of cameras, IoT, Internet of Things, were all digitized in a way that you can plan better, that you can operate and also simulate, so as to reduce energy consumption, reduce water consumption, and improve waste. So this is very important. I see that in the future, more and more as system integrators will be creating these digital twins on a large scale. It's going to be much more affordable for every single stadium to run this type of operations. And for sure, AI is critical. Machine learning, computer vision, and so on is critical to manage these millions of data points that are being generated every single match day. And through a situational awareness system, you are able to prioritize and decide what's best in every situation. Now, there is very little difference between a smart stadium, like a smart building with a smart building or with a smart factory. We have been collaborating for many years with Mercedes-Benz, creating smart facilities and factories. And now, in the past few months, we have announced a partnership where we are extending that collaboration into F1 cars, so high-performance computing, race strategy, simulations, and so on. So we are working a lot on this front. And just to give you an idea of the impressive amount of data that is being generated and needs to be handled by AI, this car has 400 sensors. 400 sensors. You know, it's generating 1.1 million data points per second. 1.1 million data points per second. So imagine the importance of this and how to apply it on the race performance. Now back to the stadium. I like this scenario because not everything is generative AI, and this is a great example on how we bridge together and connect partners. So there was a partner that was doing thermography analysis for team performance, and we connected with a partner that was doing safety and security within stadiums. And through the pandemic, we were able to measure out of thousands of people that were coming into the stadium in a UEFA Champions match, who were the people that were not wearing a mask or that have had a high temperature, so as to make sure that the rest of the people were secure and they were taken properly cared. And also some other examples using AI on computer vision. This example of identifying through remote control systems people's faces and making sure that families, that friends, that your kids, everyone is secure in the stadium, recognizing if there is a potential rioter, or maybe there is a left object, computer vision left object, or somewhere finger pointing, and so on. So the data then is for sure anonymized, but it's important that everyone is safe in this scenario. So shifting from smart stadiums into TV rights, but also about the pandemic, this is La Liga in that moment, they doubled down. And I love this scenario where you can see an empty stadium on one side, and on the other hand side, with a partner, the Czech partner, we created an avatar, or thousands of avatars. So we measured, or La Liga measured, that from an empty stadium towards, these digital avatars, cheering, shouting, celebrating, songs, and so on, they were able to measure a 6-time higher audience because people were not zapping across TV channels. So this is when companies or sports entities were struggling to renew sponsorship agreements and broadcasting, La Liga was taking advantage of this situation. Another example of millions, literally millions of data points that are generated across the 42 teams of La Liga. This is beyond stats. And what we call, or the fans call, the near impossible goal. So let me show you this. There is an attacker here who's nearly to hit. The defender is coming to defend. So you see the goalkeeper. The goal probability was less than 5%. So this on the replays or near real time, you're able to get what is the goal probability. It creates a lot of buzz, a lot of comments, and you can commercialize this through your own channels, through broadcasters, and also sponsors, and so on. And again, that's machine learning, that's computer vision, that's the traditional ML. But that's the difference now with generative AI is that you can see how developers are gaining tremendous productivity. Same with knowledge workers with M365 Copilot or consumers. And what Microsoft is doing is creating or using those building blocks that we leverage to create our own products. We're giving those to developers, ISVs, our partners, so you can build your own copilots and agents. And let me show you some of the examples here. There is another partner of the CSIC and Microsoft, one of the very beginning early partners. So what they are using here is computer vision to generate automatic content, highlights, clips, and so on. And imagine, in the near future, using Azure OpenAI, Copilot, the individuals, not only the directors, but also the individuals, being able to ask questions, and what if, instead of this player, that other player, or compare this drill or this score compared to another legend, and so on. So the opportunities to create additional content are limitless, and again, monetization models through sponsors, partners, and so on. You may have noticed my accent. This is Argentinian, a little bit of Argentinian, and this is Messi, one of my favorite players. Probably if you have seen him before, he has never spoken in English. So today we're going to do a little bit of miracle using tech.
Despite the unexpected nature of the situation, today we find ourselves in the final match. This game is for those who are unaware of our training and don't witness our day-to-day efforts. We were not prepared for this opportunity, but we will give our best to compete and strive for the title.
So you see with Azure OpenAI, some services that we provide for the customers and partners, you're able to create this voice-over with the same tone of voice, with the same Messi's style, but in different language. In this case, in English, could be Chinese, German, and so on. So think of the many opportunities that you can generate from a marketing standpoint, celebrating your kid's birthday, or when your favorite team, wins a tournament, celebrities, legends being part of your daily celebrations or hosting, or even maybe legendary MCs facilitating this. Now, another example on the sponsorship side, on that additional pillar, I'm going to show you the Premier League example, using Copilot. Copilot, again, providing tools for them to build their own copilots and asking questions. So if I'm in the US, where can I watch the semifinals of the Champions League? My favorite player, how I did last evening, a number of questions that you can ask in natural language. Maybe my favorite team, I want to get a translation into another language, or I want to see the results, or how many matches my team needs to win to win the tournament, and so on. So this is a great example on how to get much closer to the fans, wherever they are, in their own language, in their own style, being much more inclusive. And for sponsors, I like this this partner and also this solution. If we were to create a booth like this one, probably would create a briefing for an agency, and the agency would come back in a couple of days or some days or a week with some designs and so on. What I did is, in literally 16 minutes and 4 iterations, I wrote in the prompt, Lamborghini booth, black and white, Lamborghini bull logo, show me the fans that are dressed casual and so on. So I improved this, and you can see the type of content that you can generate really, really quickly for the teams. And bear in mind that, again, for us, Microsoft, the CSIC, the ecosystem is about democratization. It's making sure that small teams, small organizations can have the very best tools at a very, very affordable way. So that's why creating content with very, very few people, it's very, very important. And finally, in the fourth pillar on team performance, let's roll this video that shows really well how to handle, multiple data sources distributed among silos, but the ability for the coaches now, today, to ask questions and drive better performance and understanding on how to set up the teams. This is the NFL Combine. Let's roll.
The Combine is an event that brings together the top 3% of draft-eligible football players. In the early years, we were collecting the same amount of data, but it was scattered across different systems.
Teams didn't have a way to filter, search, and compare these stats without digging through multiple reports. AI was a perfect way to get that full prospect view.
We had a very short runway to get this all put together before we kicked it off.
Azure AI Foundry gave us the tools that we needed to hit the ground running. We started with the Azure OpenAI GPT models that we didn't need to fine-tune. We had Azure Cosmos DB to quickly store and retrieve that data, and we have Azure Container Apps to deploy the workload seamlessly. It was like a big challenge that we solved in no time.
Now, teams have the ability to ask questions about specific players and immediately be able to obtain data that allows comparative analysis from player to player. It really gives evaluators an edge that we didn't have previously.
Being able to ask a question as I would ask you a question, like, give me the fastest 40 times of a defensive lineman. The filtering of data that would have taken hours is done in a matter of seconds.
The ability to collect data in real time and dig deeper into the details while the player's in front of you, it makes you more confident in your decision making.
Great example. So where do we see the future, with all the copilots, agents that are coming up? So we see that Copilot is becoming more and more the user interface of AI. Microsoft provides off-the-shelf agents to help and to assist the people in sports and in any other industry. For example, agents like researchers, sales, marketing, analysts. You have to pay thousands of dollars for people to get to this level of quality. But today it's affordable, and through the collective learning, collective knowledge from LLMs, we're able to provide this type of scenarios off the shelf. Then we provide tools for developers, like many of you, to be able to build your own copilots or your own agents. And more we are going to see that agents are interacting and will be interacting together to drive business. So you see here on the right-hand side a number of CSIC, Global Sports Innovation Center partners, more and more collaboration, more and more connecting these future agents. We have the CSIC testing lab if you want to test your solutions with partners or if you want to interact with other organizations. We have also the AI sports with founders, so for sports entities to get to learn how to use a Copilot, how to use this type of solutions. It's a 3-month program. And the ambition that we have, or the dream, I would say, is that every single team, every single organization, every single startup can compete head-to-head like the very big organizations. It's going to be hard to get many more marketing folks, many more IT people, many more digital experts. But today, with a digital workforce of agents, copilots, and so on, through the partner ecosystem, we can deliver that level of democratization in sports. So to summarize, again, in collaboration with the CHESIC, Microsoft and the CHESIC and the sports tech ecosystem, we want to democratize sports. We want to make sports much more inclusive, personalized for the fans, sustainable, and as I mentioned a few examples before, more profitable. I'll see you at the CHESIC booth later on. Enjoy the rest of the day. See you. Thank you.